Welcome to Sprocket Damage. My name is Jason.
Excuse me if I smell like piss. You know how it is.
And this is one of my favorite movies that you probably have never heard of. Released in 2002, Death to Smoochy made a little over $8 million globally off an estimated $50 million budget. So yeah, it bombed at the box office.
You don't even see children anymore. You just see wallets with pigtails.
Pretty bad, in fact. Hell, Waterworld, which is infamous for being a box office flop, still made a profit.
Gills.
So what the hell happened? On paper, Death to Smoochy has a lot going for it. It stars Edward Norton, Catherine Keener, Jon Stewart, Danny DeVito, and of course...
I'm Rainbow fucking Randolph!
The cast alone should have brought people out in droves. Then you've got the story, which is the perfect setup for these talented comedians to just go nuts. In fact, reading the script the first time brought both Edward Norton and Robin Williams to tears laughing. Very basically, the story goes like this. When an unhinged kids' TV host loses his time slot after a scandal, a naively innocent replacement by the name of Smoochy the Rhino is brought in by the studio execs to save face.
He's a bottle of pancake syrup with legs.
Frank.
Get me Smoochy.
Smoochy gains popularity pretty quickly and in turn is targeted by the seedy business underbelly of the industry.
I laid the groundwork. He's a piggy bank with a horn. You'll make more money with him than 20 Rainbow Randolphs.
Very important to the Parade of Hope.
There's lots of material here to play with, and director Danny DeVito handles it with a master's craft.
I'm not here to aggravate, just educate.
So I have to go on a little tangent here because I don't think enough people recognize or give Danny DeVito enough credit. Yes, this movie is directed by that Danny DeVito.
What is happening?
Can't breathe.
The guy's been involved in the film and TV industry since 1970, getting his first role in a major production as Martini in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then shortly after landing one of the leads in the popular TV show Taxi. He directed a few episodes of that, and has since directed some titles you may recognize, including Throw Mama from the Train, War of the Roses, and even...
They named her Matilda.
You're supposed to eat the spinach.
But his most unsung work is as a producer. For that, he brought us Reno 911, Man on the Moon, Aaron Brockovich, and even Pulp Fiction. The dude is a legend.
Oh yeah, I'm doing backflips.
So, considering all of the star power and a solid premise, why didn't Death to Smoochy make more of an impact? Well, if you ask DeVito himself...
Well, I think people did get a lot out of Death to Smoochy, and the people who've seen it have responded in a big way. The studio didn't get Death to Smoochy. That they have done this in the past to lots of movies where they don't really promote them and put them out there.
In this case, he's likely talking about Warner Brothers. Yep, the same company that is canceling completed films for tax breaks intentionally tanked Death to Smoochy. Some things never change.
Tear him apart! Peace! Bye! Peace! Peace! Bye!
He said it's time to heal. Now stop it.
In their defense, though, it was always going to be difficult to market an absurdly dark and cynical comedy involving children's television starring an actor best known for providing family-friendly characters. Speaking of, I should also note that the inclusion of Robin Williams here only complicated things. Not because Williams wasn't as popular as ever at this time, but because it was a bit of a turn for him.
You want your little booger eater on my show?
Of course.
Yes, very much.
Then don't tell me how to run my f***ing business.
2002 was a weird year for the country, coming off of the shock of certain world events, but it stands out when you look specifically at Robin Williams' career. He was just coming off of his late 90s highs of Patch Adams, Good Will Hunting, and Bicentennial Man. But in 2002, he only released 3 films: Death to Smoochy, 1 Hour Photo, and Insomnia. If you've seen these movies, you'll know that there's something unique going on here because Williams plays villains in all 3 of these. Maybe villain isn't quite the right word for 1 Hour Photo, but regardless, these are all films that kind of broke away from the type of lovable characters Williams had played until this point. And Death to Smoochy is his most unhinged.
You okay?
I don't know. I'm kind of f***ed up in general, so it's hard to gauge.
Personally, I love him doing this kind of thing, and I wish we saw more of it. But general audiences, I don't think, were interested in him in this quote-unquote bad guy role. Their loss, honestly. Something else that this film accomplishes, that I'm a huge fan of, is creating scenarios that effectively test a character's foundation. Here, Sheldon Mopes is a kind, altruistic, generous person who sincerely wants to have a positive effect on the lives of the people around him.
Sheldon, I know you got a fetish for ethics. Now's not the time to fly that kite. You can't change the world, buddy.
No, but you can make a dent.
He values integrity and trust above all else, so when he's pushed and prodded and bullied in this new world, everything about what he stands for and the portal for which his positive influence is supposed to do the most good, children's television, is shown to be corrupt. He's faced with a major obstacle. Will he fight to keep that which makes him who he is, or will he succumb to his new surroundings and become just another washed-out children's TV host?
When we were kids and my brothers and I played cowboys and Indians, I was always the Chinese railroad worker.
It's also through these temptations that we can see that Sheldon is flawed in a way that isn't quite apparent. He suffers from a god complex and seeks power and control, which is used against him by Burke.
I have complete creative control of my show.
Total.
Veto power over all merchandise. The corporate penthouse is mine.
Cushy.
I must be dreaming.
Then we have Nora Wells. I love how she's initially portrayed as the jaded opposition to Sheldon's childish optimism. The two of them together make for great chemistry. Nora is also the character who arguably has the most growth. In the beginning, she's fed up with the lack of accountability of these costumed man-children and begrudges the idea of adding more to the mix with Smoochy.
I'm gonna make this real easy for you. The only reason you're on TV right now is because Rainbow Randolph is a degenerate scumbag. I didn't discover you. I delivered you like a sack of groceries. I got a bigger emotional investment in my nail polish. So don't peddle your sap to me, Rhino.
But over time, we get these moments where we can see underneath that she used to be just as naively compassionate early in her groupie days.
You remember the Clunky Wonky?
Remember it, I did it for my first Holy Communion.
Get out!
Cracks form in her tough exterior as the film goes on, and she falls back in love with the vibe that children's programming superficially promotes. Nora is the person that Sheldon influences with his positivity, even if the film misses an opportunity to really highlight that directly.
Okay, I may have become a bit hardened over the years.
Yeah, I bet.
Listen, sincerity is an easy disguise in this business. It's hard to know who's on the level.
If it wasn't already pretty obvious at this point, this movie is a dark comedy. This is a tough genre of film that too often turns out to be a bad investment for studios, even though there are a lot of diehard fans. Think about some of the best dark comedies and how many of them really didn't become the cultural phenomena they should be. Death Becomes Her, They Cloned Tyrone, The Lobster, The Menu. All fantastic films that kind of just fell off the face of the planet after release, or in some cases completely flew under the radar.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Dark comedy tends to be a personal favorite genre of mine, and I get that it's not for everyone, but it still feels like these are important films because they tend to take greater risks and give us something fresh and new. So all of this is to say that this movie is worth seeking out. It's absolutely hilarious.
We're gonna find him, cut off his balls and shove him up his ass.
Well, maybe we should leave that for the cops, Tommy.
The cops won't do the ball thing. It's against procedure.
It's one of those titles that feels like it completely flew under the radar, and every time I watch it, I still can't believe more people don't talk about it. Maybe it has a flaw or two.
Don't make the same mistake I did. Keep your dignity intact.
Ah! My balls! They're on fire!
But for me, it's a damn masterpiece of comedic cinema. Everyone is given a lot to work with, and they all nail the witty, albeit cynical, deliveries.
Hey, watch your mouth,
What
mister.
experiments? I've had firmer handshakes, you drunk.
Please, it's small, but it's fierce!
This movie deserves a rediscovery, and I hope that this video brings a few more people to it. There are DVDs still floating around out there, but frustratingly, this was never released on Blu-ray. Still, you can stream it in some places if you're into that sort of thing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to buy more physical media.